Hi guys, Pixel Gaijin here, Jamaican YouTuber. Welcome back to my channel, and we're reacting to Paulo's video of why Japanese don't like foreigners living in Japan. Now, whether you like it or not, whether Japanese like it or not, foreigners are actually needed in Japan because of the aging workforce here, and therefore, thusly, right. So let's get into this video. Yeah.
Let's talk about why Japanese think foreigners living in Japan are rude.
Let's go. Let's
So I wanted to cover what Japanese consider rude that's not usually in your average blog or video. Probably fair to say that visiting Japan as a tourist and living and working in Japan is a completely different experience.
I have been saying this. So all you idioms and Japanese nationalists who have never lived in Japan, spring off and about to come on this video, please see. This guy is saying the same thing I've been saying for years. Living here and visiting are two different experiences.
It's no longer just about visiting the coolest sites or eating the coolest food. Foreign residents become a part of the daily grind with all of the other Japanese living here. And what a lot of foreigners don't realize is that there are a lot of unwritten rules here in Japan to help maintain the society until maybe it's too late. So I'm gonna share with you some of the more interesting unwritten rules that I personally came across to help anyone planning on living in Japan to avoid being considered as that rude foreigner. As always, these are general rules. Nothing is absolute in this world. Everyone is different, and some Japanese will be more sensitive to these rules than others. Also, I'm interested to know how these rules compare to your country. Anything stick out? Let me know in the comments. And if you want me to do more of these type of videos, let me know by hitting that like button. And as always, if you want to see what I'm doing on the daily, check out my Instagram account. If you want to help support the channel, check out the Hold My Miso merch. And if you have any questions about Japan or your Japan travels, check out my Discord community. Let's get into it and move on to the next spot. Number 1, working in Japan. So many foreigners coming and living in Japan are here for work. So let's start with that. And this first issue is one of those things that bother a lot of Japanese. You may already know that Japanese employees operate as a team, especially in the office environment, where everyone is required to do their part. But if you're working long enough with a company, you're eventually going to want to take some time off, eventually during holidays and long weekends to maximize your time. What ends up happening is some foreigners don't consider their coworkers and take the time off as they please. They come in with that mindset that no matter what, they're taking the time off. No matter what, end of August, I am taking 1 week off. I deserve it. But therein lies a problem. In Japanese culture, it's important to consult with your coworkers beforehand and discuss ongoing and future projects to make sure your projects are covered before taking the time off. Essentially, putting your coworkers and your company first. The downside is that since a lot of companies run pretty lean, it becomes ever more difficult to take the time off as it becomes a huge burden for your
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Are you telling me that people actually don't consult their supervisor before taking leave? I mean, yes, you might want to go off at a particular time. I used to work in a financial institution in Jamaica, and generally there are periods where you are blocked out that you can't take off, like at the end of the month because that's when a lot of people get paid and you need to collect the money, etc. Or just before Christmas, before major holidays, because that's when people have a lot of money. So I used to work in recoveries, so that is I guess those periods are blacked out for whatever. Even in my current job here in Japan, there's certain periods that you cannot get off because it's important to the company. That I understand. No, apart from that, it's a company's responsibility or HR to make sure that everybody has their mental health in check. And well, not the company's responsibility. It's the company's responsibility. It's not your responsibility as a worker, I feel, to make sure that everything else is okay with the company. The company is run. They have persons who are paid to manage the personnel, and as such, they should be able to work around certain situations. Of course, as he said, companies are pretty much lean, especially in COVID times. Persons have gone back home, and the companies are running on a bare minimum staff. But there should be some workarounds. You should be able to find some workarounds. That's what you big bucks are paid to the managers for.
your coworkers, and is a large reason why many employees don't take the time off at all. Number 2, coming back from vacation.
Oh, and of course, there's the history of Japan and overworking persons not taking vacation at all. So me, I love my mental health, so me I gonna eat.
Now, if you were able to get that time off without alienating yourself from your team, it's now time to return the favor. This comes in the form of omiyage, a gift usually from a place you visited, maybe a box of sweets or snacks to share with the team. Since many of them had to cover for you while you were gone, this is a gesture to say thank you for handling my workload when I was gone. And here's a little treat so you can experience a piece of my holiday. For getting this, as well as taking holiday as you please, would be a double punch to your coworkers.
Yeah, apparently, yeah, this is a serious thing. Omiyage. But I don't think it's like depends on the work culture that you have in Japan as well. If you're not seeing persons that you work with every day and you see them once in a while, then it's not that big a deal. But if you're in a Japanese office, like office situation where you work with people, it is rude, apparently, not to bring back something from the country. I mean, I bring back for those who I like, and I'm being honest. For those I don't interact with or those that give me a lot of trouble, I don't care. I really don't care. And I'm still in my job. I'm still respected by most, and yeah, moving on with that. Wow.
Number 3, greeting your neighbors. What many people don't know when moving into a new place is that you're supposed to greet and give a gift to your neighbors to introduce yourself. But it's probably fair to say that this is one of those older customs that even some younger Japanese families aren't following themselves. This is
Thank you. Because I was going to say, what? I don't even know my neighbor. My neighbor only knocks on the door or knocks on the side when it is noisy. I've had very bad experiences with neighbors between my playing music or being loud recording videos. I've had them knock on the door because it was a paper thin in Leo palaces or mansions, as they call them here in Japan. And I don't even interact with them. I don't know them. They come in, they go to work, go back to business. They are about themselves here, mostly. So maybe it depends on your community. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know. See, if I die or something was happening to me in my sleep here, no, I would know because my neighbor don't know me. I don't have any interaction with them. I've actually tried to have a drink with my neighbors in my old city Toyota, but nothing happened. Yeah.
is more common in less densely populated areas, especially homes where you often see neighbors, and less common in densely populated areas like Tokyo and large apartment buildings. The idea behind it is for neighbors to get to know who you are, and the gift itself doesn't need to be major, usually a snack or towel worth about $5 to $10. Number 4. Visiting someone's home. At some point, you'll probably be invited to someone's home, and you probably already know that when entering a Japanese home, you're supposed to take off your shoes. But what many don't know is that there's a proper way to do it. And when Japanese don't do it themselves, it kind of shows that they weren't raised correctly. Just after you take off your shoes, you don't just leave it as is and walk in. You're supposed to take off the shoes, line it up, and reface it towards the door, like this. Doesn't it look just so much cleaner this way? Anyway, before I continue on,
Was he just trying to show off his shoes? Those shoes kind of fresh though. I like them. Yeah, that is true. Even when the kids come into my class, the parents often chastise them and say, "Hey, put your shoes together properly and turn it face out." So yeah, this is just a real thing. I don't mind that. That's something that I could work with.
I wanted to give a quick shout out to our sponsor for this video, Booksu. If you don't already know, shopping for food. So if you ever make your way to a supermarket, you might want to know this one. In Japan, it's considered bad manners to peel out the food and put it back, especially in the meat section and produce section. One, no one wants bruised peaches or kiwis, plus it makes the fruit unsellable.
Please do not finger peach. People out there finger. What you guys on? What you guys on about out here? Fingering them peaches. Huh? Y'all out here trying to get your freak on? Huh? Feeling up meat. Is that a thing? I know in Jamaica we go to the food store, we make sure that it's firm and not overripe. But I mean, Jesus. Feeling up meat though, I just look at it and see if it's fresh or maybe smell it. Maybe I don't know. What do you guys do? What do you guys do?
And there's something about someone else pressing up on your meat. The idea is all that food is going into someone's mouth, and by touching it, it's like putting your fingers inside of their mouth. Like many of these unwritten rules, it's something that you're taught when you're a kid. So it's even rude to tell someone that you're being rude to their face. So you probably won't even have any of your Japanese friends tell it to your face, but they may talk behind your back. Number 6, eating.
That is one of the things I never get about Japan. Rather than tell you that what you're doing is wrong, they rather talk about it behind the back to somebody else, which is also rude, but it's a part of Japanese culture to avoid conflict, which is still rude in our eyes, but not rude to them. So therein lies the cultural disconnect. Pow! Mind blown! But I didn't study Eastern Japanese, East Asian studies in university, so what do I know? I just live in Japan.
Eating manners. Now there's so many eating manners and chopstick etiquette rules here in
Mm-hmm.
Japan that I couldn't cover it all in this video, but in fact I already created a video on that, so if you're interested, check out my video called How to Eat Japan. But one thing that I didn't mention and that Japanese think is really gross and that some foreigners don't realize
Mm-hmm.
is licking your chopsticks is really just kind of disgusting. I don't
Who,
think anyone
who
goes out
does
of their
that?
way to lick their chopsticks. It usually happens when people aren't good with their chopsticks and they get food all over it, and they think naturally the best way to get the food off of it is to lick it off. But if you've gotten here, you're kind of at a point of no return, as there's no proper solution manner-wise to remove the food off your chopsticks, as Japanese wouldn't have allowed food to remain on their chopsticks after the first bite. As a last resort, better than licking your chopsticks, covertly wash off the chopsticks with your soup. Anyway, that's a no-no in Japan, so best to probably avoid doing that. Number 7, owning a dog. Now this one really surprised me when I found out, especially coming from the US. If you ever decide to own a dog in Japan, you're gonna have to take it out for walks. It's probably already common sense that you need to clean up after your dog's poop. But in Japan, you're also supposed to clean up their pee by washing it down with water afterwards. Is there any other
Oh,
country that has to do this? Number
I didn't know.
8, wedding gifts.
Yo, that makes a lot of sense because that stank. So, all right, Japan. I mean, that's a good thing. So I'm not even mad about that. Maybe what we should do. Maybe we should go to Tokyo Roppongi, Shibuya Roppongi with this and just wash down half of the street because it's rank and it's not dogs. Well, dogs of a different breed. I'm talking about people being drunk and pissing in the streets. If you didn't get it, all right.
So if you've made some close friends in Japan, you'll
Mm-hmm.
probably get invited to a few Japanese weddings. If
No
so,
way.
you'll quickly find out that it's customary in Japan to give the bride and groom money instead of an actual gift.
Listen. This was a mad thing, bruv. Where did I get a British accent from? What I'm saying is, I was invited to a couple weddings, and I couldn't even make it because I had work. One, two. When I actually tried to get there after work, I made it to the second party. But traditionally, it's like $300 minimum for the gift. $300, 30,000 yen. All right, the coverage is wrong. But Jesus, have mercy. To come to your wedding, you have to pay you. They have it right still. Japan does it the right way. Because when they get married, people in the West spend a lot of money on the room and the wedding preparation and food. In Japan, they basically pay to go to somebody's wedding, which is, I guess, entertainment, I guess.
Usually starting at about $300. The thing foreigners should be careful with is to give the money in odd increments. So $300, $500, $700, and so on. But most importantly, the money needs to be brand new, crisp bills picked up from the bank. It's actually rude to give used, folded, or wrinkled bills, as a wedding is a symbol of a new beginning.
Oh, wedding blood. So you're telling me the money matters, the quality of the money matters. I mean, I wouldn't give a fold up bill, but brand new? Damn, y'all people got rules for days.
Yes, in this case, money isn't all the same. Number 9, receiving gifts. Now, if you ever receive a gift for something
Yes.
like a childbirth, a wedding, or a special celebration, you're obligated to give 30 to 50% back of the gift's worth. In fact, this custom is so ingrained in Japan's culture that they even have return gift booklets and now websites where the original gift giver can select a gift to get back. To say the least, if you get a gift, don't forget to give one back. Personally, I always
Wow, that is crazy. That is crazy. You give a gift to give. Well, Japan really has this equity thing down pat, So if I give you a gift, I have to get back a 30 to 50% value of a gift back. So technically, I should give. Wow, that is interesting. I didn't know that. I didn't know
always thought
that
it
at all.
quite funny that in order to follow this custom, you have to do research on how much the gift costs. Finally, if you live in Japan long enough, it's quite unfortunate, but you may be invited to a funeral. So this one caught me really off guard. Yes, wearing black attire is a must, and the overall attire may be more strict than other countries. But what struck me is that if you wear sunglasses at a Japanese funeral, it is extremely rude. See, in the US, it's quite common to wear sunglasses to cover your eyes, but in Japan, it's a definite no-no. So
Really?
there you go. That's my list. What did you think? Anything that was
Why?
extreme? Anything that was fair? Let me know all in the comments. Again, I can't stress enough that these are general rules. Not every single person in Japan
Wow, that's
follows these
crazy.
rules, but nonetheless, it should serve as
Wow, that was an interesting video. To be honest, a few things that I didn't know. Uh, wow, that was a pretty interesting video, guys. I must say I've learned some things. I've been here for 8 years. I didn't know about receiving gifts, and I didn't know about the sunglasses for funerals. I haven't been to a funeral, thank God. Knock on wood. But yeah, wow. Let me know what differences do you have in your country to that? Do you find of this list here? Is anything rude in your country that's on this list? Or let me know in the comments down below. And what video you want me to react to next? Because guys, Jamaican YouTuber, he keep a show. This was crazy. This video was actually dope. Not lie.